You're listening to Toronto's only pure metal show, The Red Switch.
Behind it, but of course you don't know beforehand if you will achieve that, you know? Mm-hmm. You don't know if the material is good enough to reach that certain point where you want to receive, like the soundtrack for a war movie or a documentary. But yeah, it worked out. I mean, also the outro is like very, it's a very sad way of saying goodbye to the war, something like that.
With that note, in comparison to your initial albums, Passiondale is a lot like your early work in terms of the sound. However, the concept of the album has gone from scathing religion to more like an awareness of war, not so much politics, but the history of war, specifically the Battle of Passiondale. Yeah. Is this a conscious shift or just a change in the concept of ideas for the album?
No, this really happened by coincidence. Going to my former guitar player to visit him in Yper, which is like like 2-3 kilometers away from Passiondale, seeing all this stuff about World War I. You know, going out in the weekend and then seeing all the relatives of English, Irish, and Scottish soldiers going to Yper to visit the graves of their relatives who died in the war. And these people get drunk and they start singing louder than the barman could crank up the stereo set, you know? And that impressed me so much. And I'm a history freak, and I did historical topics on previous albums, so this was my chance to do an album about history and to make a concept album, which I always wanted to do, but I could never find the right topic. So it was all by chance that it happened this way. And the music is a little bit more towards our roots. We did it on purpose, just because it felt right to do, and also because we got a drummer back who played on our previous albums, on the first 2 albums, and we got the keyboard player back who played on those albums, so we got the atmosphere back from those albums.
Mm-hmm. Being the history buff that you say you are, I'm sure you probably already know about the Canadian Battle of Passiondale and the memorial that we have in Belgium already. Yeah. And we also have a similar memorial statue here in our city as well, in Toronto, all about Passiondale. In fact, a Canadian director made a film called Passiondale recently. You saw it? It was pretty good.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Your entire album, like I said before, plays out like a saga from beginning to end. You really do get a sense of the grief and the brutality of war in the entire album. How much research or knowledge did you already bring to the table of World War I or even the events surrounding Passiondale? Did you have to do a little research for that, or was this foreknowledge?
I did a lot of research.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, Holland was like a neutral country. Holland was like a neutral country in World War I. So in school, it's like not even mentioned. It's only about World War II. And I was interested in why did this war start, because I didn't know. I didn't know anything about it. I think the majority of the people do not know anything about World War I. So I did a lot of research, and also our former guitar player Isaac de la Haye, who lives there, and his grandfather was involved in this whole thing. He found a lot of books, and he gave me a lot of stuff from the books. He gave the books itself, and he helped doing research. So him and I together made this whole story fit together, like the things we were digging up about the war, because we didn't know. It's a very unknown war, and maybe the Canadians know a lot about it since you've been there.
I would agree. A lot of Canadians don't know a lot of history about World War I, or even the Canadian involvement in it. And maybe, possibly, your album might be a chance for, even some of the metalheads here in Canada that are a fan of God Dethroned to start maybe, taking an interest in World War I and their ancestors and their forefathers and what they did for the country.
Yeah, actually, I got a lot of emails from people who tell me what you just tell me. Like, okay, I got into this whole thing because of you, because of the album. Really? I didn't know anything about it, and it was so interesting. People started to look things up on the internet and stuff like that.
So maybe are you saying there's a future for possibly God Dethroned doing sort of like public advertisements on TV about history on World War I?
Yeah,
Like
well-
knowledge is power, brought to you by God Dethroned.
Yeah, it would be funny though.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could do that. And actually, my plan is to take this a little bit further and to do another album about World War One, because I spoke about the hyper situation basically. But of course, World War One was stretching from England to Japan, in the Middle East, and whatnot. I mean, so I can do a lot more about it, and so that's my plan actually.
This next question has nothing to do with music. If you could be any superhero, doesn't matter whether it's from Marvel, DC, any comic book, what hero would you be and why?
It's a very difficult question. What superhero would you like to be?
I'd be Wonder Woman.
I can imagine that, but if I would say that, it would sound stupid, wouldn't it? Jesus Christ. Is it all right if I say I don't know?
Sure.
I really
That's
don't know.
fine. Yeah. What is your favorite superhero? Can you answer that one?
Probably Typhoid Mary, but she's not really a superhero, is she?
Who's Typhoid Mary?
She's the girl who seduces men and then kills them. And it sounds cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
We did a song about her on the Toxic Touch album.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's about, we have a song called Typhoid Mary, which is about the real person, Typhoid Mary, who lived in New York apparently a long time ago. She was infected with typhoid but didn't know because it didn't show in her body, but she infected like lots of people. And we have a song called On Wings of Pestilence, also from the Toxic Touch album, and that's about the Marvel comic Typhoid Mary.
Would God Dethroned be interested in doing tours with Christian metal bands?
I don't see that making sense.
No?
I mean, if somebody believes in God, that's fine with me. I'm just against organized religion. So, I could play with a Christian metal band, but I don't see the point.
Wouldn't make sense.
Wouldn't make sense.
Would your fans? Do you think your fans would show up to shows with Christian metal bands on the bill, or would it be just stemming from your own personal beliefs that you just don't feel this would fit?
Yeah, it's my personal belief, but I also think that the fans would not show up, and I can't blame them. I mean, it would be a strange combination. I think many Christian bands are like doing promotion for the whole Christian thing, and if somebody believes, that's fine. But if you promote Christian belief, which is something that's wrong in my opinion. I mean, look at how many people got killed because out of the name of Christ.
Yeah. Holy wars.
Yeah, holy wars, and then the Christ hunt. Oh, well, not the Christ hunt, the witch hunt, the Spanish Inquisition.
Do you feel it's a bit ironic that say people like Dave Mustaine from Megadeth, who's recently, I guess, become a born-again Christian, would write tracks and albums about the idea of religion, even though they're on venues and shows and tours with bands that are sort of much like your own, anti-organized religion.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about that? Do you think there's a bit of a contradiction in that?
I don't know where he lost it, but he definitely lost it. I told you I was a fan of Megadeth when I was younger, but I lost it somewhere, and when I found out he was a reborn Christian, I thought he was a pathetic loser. Probably it was maybe his way of escaping drugs, but I think he's still taking them, I think it was his way of like, when you can't bear your own responsibility, you become a reborn Christian, and then you can hold on to something else. That's what I think. So I lost all my respect for that guy.
Do you feel that people put too much of the good things that they do in life on the basis that it's because of a higher power? That willpower is not from the human level, but from a higher level?
Yeah.
Is it an excuse in your opinion, or?
I don't really understand why people do that. I mean, if you do something right, be happy about it. If you do something wrong, the Catholic Church, you can just pay some money and you're all free again to go to heaven. I just don't get it. That's why I'm against organized religion, because that's bullshit to me.